Tonight on Most Shocking. Whether they're liquored up or stripping down, hell hath no fury like Lawless ladies. First up, a mouthy mother storms a school bus and gives a teacher a lesson in pain. Plus, a belligerent speeder gets pulled over and tries to mow down a cop. And later,
nobody gets inside that vehicle!
A woman gets busted for DUI and waives her right to remain silent.
You are so gay.
This is not a movie. Everything you're about to see is real.
Oh, I'm doing it.
I will get.
Brace yourself.
I
This is Most Shocking. Lawless Ladies.
Mount Carmel, Tennessee. In seconds, these three strangers will be forever linked by one haunting question. What if? For the day manager in brown, it will be, what if he hadn't lingered after his shift? For the customer in the hat, what if he had waited to buy beer? And for the lady backing out in her car, the question will be, what if she never drove drunk? After shuffling back to her vehicle, the tipsy trucker backs into a concrete post and panics. By the time the people inside realize what's happening, it's too late. The customer in the hat is blindsided by a flying cabinet and slammed against the counter. The day manager is shredded by a shower of glass shards. In shock, both men scramble for safety. The driver stumbles out of her SUV. But as people start to gather around, she gets nervous. And despite a patron's call to stay put, the dangerous dame starts to reverse. Then, as one of her injured victims looks on, she rolls out of the parking lot. 1 minute later, Lieutenant Kevin Ewing arrives to review the surveillance tapes.
You could tell she was absolutely flooring it. She was not on the brakes at all. The glass is flying, the debris is flying, the bodies are flying.
But amazingly, both men caught in the crash walk away with only cuts and bruises. And while the driver who struck them initially took off, this hit and run has a twist.
And about 45 minutes later, she actually called 911 and said, I'm the one that ran through the store. Come and get me, basically.
She's charged with DUI and sentenced to probation. But one look at the obliterated storefront proves she's lucky it wasn't worse.
And just the fact that no one got hurt more seriously than they did is absolutely amazing to me.
Jacksonville, Florida. When a woman parks her car in a ditch, officers decide to get to the bottom of things. They soon discover that something is more than a little off. It turns out this driver is naked below the waist.
Watch out, someone close the door.
And worse, she's fall down drunk.
Oh, careful.
The officer helps the half-naked wonder to her feet, then hits her with the million-dollar question.
Where's your pants at?
In the car.
Well, why don't you get them out and put them on? How come you don't have them on?
I
You don't know?
The lawman orders the lady to cover up so that he can run a sobriety test. But putting on her pants becomes a test in itself. And one she fails miserably.
Careful, don't fall down.
I'm good to go.
Okay.
It turns out she slipped into her slacks backwards. Just another blunder in her night of mistakes. By the end, this half-moon madam not only fails the breathalyzer, but she also loses the battle with her clothes. The naughty nudist is taken downtown to sleep it off. Because when she decided to go bottoms up, then bottoms down, her wild night got exposed by the cops.
Where's your pants at?
In Ohio, a mad mom storms a school bus, angry that the driver forgot her kid. But when teacher's aide Dayla Clark tries to run interference, she becomes the target of the parents' rage. Dayla can hardly believe the ferocious female.
But she didn't like me telling her to get off the bus. And then she was in my face. I had my cell phone in my hand. I was going to call the police.
But the threat of authority only fuels the fire. And as the angry mother reaches her boiling point, the violence erupts.
And I did the best I could to protect the kids in the back of the bus. When she shoved me, my cell phone went flying, and so did I.
The children watch in terror as their instructor kicks to fend off the assault.
It was kind of like a mad woman, and it scared me because I don't know what could happen.
The big mouth mama eventually backs off and later pleads no contest to charges of disorderly conduct.
I really can't believe a mother could do this in front of any children, but I guess anger overrules everything else.
The Czech Republic. An officer stops a sedan for speeding. It's a minor moving violation that's about to turn into a major crime. When the trooper approaches the car, the driver refuses to open the window. Only when the policeman goes to write down the license plate does the speed demon emerge. But after briefly arguing her case, Goldilocks decides to make a break for it. She hits the gas, and then the cop. The long-haired lawbreaker rams the officer aside with her bumper. Luckily, backup arrives just in time to see the vehicular assault and give chase. After a short pursuit, the deranged dame surrenders. And now for running from and then into the law. Police are putting the brakes on her freedom.
Coming up, a female felon storms a convenience store, putting a clerk in the crosshairs. Plus, a restaurant brawler loses her top, then flies off the handle. And later, testing this suspected drunk driver is as easy as ABC. When most shocking, Lawless Ladies returns.
Toledo, Ohio. Armed robbery is usually a crime dominated by men. But today, it's a woman's world. These Bonnie and Clyde wannabes methodically charge into the store.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Quick.
The girl's partner enters first with his gun drawn. Adele Kachan is the cashier on duty.
I thought it's a joke or something. But when I looked at the gun, he had like a revolver in his hand, and I've seen real bullets in it. That's when I know it's a real thing. It's happening to me.
The man shoves his weapon at the clerk's chest, driving fear into the night worker's heart. Moments later, the armed vixen enters as the anchor to this devious plan. Like an old pro, she pulls out her firearm and demands the loot. The cashier follows orders, trying to prevent the situation from escalating. But there's no stopping it. The woman's sidekick squeezes the trigger. Adele flinches as the bullet misses his head by mere inches.
I was taking the money out and he fired a shot. That's when I got scared. I said, oh my God, I might not get out here alive.
As gun smoke fills the air, the worker hands over the cash. But as the femme fatale leads the way to escape, her man takes aim at Adele again.
I thought he was gonna shoot. I thought he was gonna kill me.
The two get away with hundreds of dollars and leave Adele shaken but uninjured.
I hope it's the first time and it's the last time that will happen to me.
When cops catch up to these equal opportunity criminals, they'll be facing some equal opportunity justice. In a New York diner, a cat fight erupts and the fur starts to fly.
What's going on, man?
It started when the woman being dogpiled hit on the barely clothed bad girl's man.
Crazy bitch!
Frustrated with the claustrophobic clash, the halter-top fighter clears some room to rumble. But as she picks up the table, she drops down her blouse. Unfazed, the flasher covers up and keeps on kicking. Finally, a man steps in to break up the fight. But as the victim tries to stand up, a solid right cross knocks her back down. This time, a protector picks her up and escorts her away. But the battle is far from over. As the losers are leaving, the wronged woman's friend smashes them with a chair. And the restaurant explodes into chaos.
Crazy. I want to see this wilding out. This is how it is, baby.
In a parting shot, the girlfriend rains down salt shakers and plates on the retreating crew, as well as the other patrons. It turns out the whole scrap was a big misunderstanding. But regardless of the reason, when this scantily clad combatant blew her top in the diner, this battered babe got served. Santa Maria, California. This young woman is about to prove that there really is no honor among thieves. She walks inside this service station to get some gas. But as she approaches the counter, she sees a jar filled with money. It's a collection fund to help pay for an employee's funeral services. With no hesitation, the shameless shoplifter slides the container closer. She scans the room, completely unaware that the camera watches her every move. Even the entrance of another customer doesn't deter this diabolical dame. She takes off her sweater and covers the loot. When the coast is clear, the crook scurries out the door with her ill-gotten gains. Outside, she stashes the cash, but she still needs some gas. So the brazen bandita jogs back to the scene of the crime and buys some fuel. Even then, the light-fingered lady pilfers some candy while the clerk's back is turned. Showing no signs of remorse, the thief fills up her ride and casually drives away with her plunder. But even though she leaves with a full tank, after this heartless heist, her karma is running on empty. Perea, Ohio. Officer Robert Surgeonor responds to a 911 call, reporting an intoxicated blonde female driver.
Driver's license.
And the person in this car fits the description to a T.
Give it to me.
When I asked her for a driver's license, she fumbled around. What she came up with was her Sam's Club discount card. And that's usually an indication that the person isn't in full control of their faculties.
Turn around this way.
The officer is convinced he's got his suspect, and so is she.
We want to give you a few tests, all right?
Okay.
I think you're over the limit.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
But Surgeonor has a surefire way to judge her impairment. The alphabet test.
Would you recite the alphabet for me?
In my opinion, it's one of the most reliable tests.
Turn around.
If you're intoxicated, very doubtful whether you're going to be able to go from A to Z without stumbling over the letters.
It's a theory the woman proves with flying colors.
A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, L, P.
Okay, is that it?
Realizing her predicament, she quickly turns to pleading with the officer.
Okay. Stand there and face the police car. All right?
Please, sir. Please, sir.
But he's not buying it.
Just do what I tell you to do.
Anytime that someone like this is calling you sir, they're trying to show you some respect, but there's always something they want in return for that respect. They're not going to call you a pig and expect you to be nice to them or give them any kind of breaks.
Finally, the liquored-up lady tries to play her trump card. She claims to have a relative on the force.
My brother's police car.
She looked at me and she said, "My brother's a police car." Another indication that she's pretty well tanked.
Nepotism aside, Surgeonor has seen enough.
I'm going to place you under arrest for driving while intoxicated, okay?
And now that the drunken dame is cuffed, her mood quickly changes.
Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law.
Stop! Stop!
Do you understand your rights?
Stop!
Stop!
I don't know how many times she told me to shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. She was definitely trying to overshout me, trying to read her Miranda warnings.
The belligerent driver is locked in the back of Surgeonor's cruiser for the trip to the station. But then, after spending most of her wasted night alone, she should be happy for the family reunion.
My brother's police car.
Up next, a mad mother runs from the law, putting her kids in the path of destruction. Plus, a desperado in a dress gives an expensive laptop the slip. And
Nobody gets inside that vehicle!
a drunken diva gets detained and lets the insults fly. That's next on Most Shocking. Lawless Ladies.
Smith County, Texas. Officer Mark Waters lights up a mother in a minivan traveling way over the speed limit. But the cop has no idea just how fast this mama wagon can go.
It was a routine traffic stop for the speed violation, and it went from routine to extraordinary.
With officers in tow, the woman blazes down the blacktop.
We got one running from here.
I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I wanted to find out why this woman just took off from a police officer.
The red line lady jets past vehicles at more than 80 miles an hour, heading right into oncoming traffic.
Also notify EMS she's driving very hazardly, running people off the road.
When I was pursuing her, the number one thing in my mind was safety. I wanted the individual to stop and end the pursuit.
The fugitive careens off the asphalt, then barely avoids a devastating high-speed collision. Waters fears an inevitable conclusion.
Normally chases have some type of crash or collision that actually stops them. They go until they can't go anymore.
But as more officers join the pursuit, the mad dasher realizes there's nowhere to run. She exits the vehicle with her hands in the air, giving up without a fight.
We've got her in custody.
Cops take Amanda Pointer in and soon learn why she was running.
Just be advised that subject has 10 city court warrants and 5 Smith County.
Repeat that one more time. She has what?
But that's not the only surprise.
That's when I walked up to the van and saw that there were 3 children inside the van, and I was horrified. She was jeopardizing not only the lives of herself, her children, but also mine during the chase.
Every deadly turn, every near miss was done while the driver's 3 terrified kids were in the back seat. Now, the children will be taken away, while this candidate for Worst Mom of the Year serves 24 months behind bars. Because after this parent made the mother of all mistakes, cops proved they weren't kidding around. Honduras. These 2 women have business to conduct at this utilities company. Funny business. While one lady draws the employee in the pink dress away from her desk, the other scouts the area. When the coast is clear, the gypsy sidles up to a laptop. First, she unplugs the mouse. Then she slides the computer to the edge of the desk for an easy grab. Like a hungry hawk, she circles her prey, waiting for the kill. Once no one is looking, she swoops in and unplugs the power cord. Minutes later, she snatches the notebook and shoves it up her skirt. Using her thighs of steel, the machine disappears. The crook gives her accomplice the signal, and the partners in crime make a clean getaway. Moments later, the employee discovers the laptop larceny. It was almost the perfect heist. But when these brazen banditas thought they gave a computer the slip, they didn't realize their every move was caught on tape. Tampa, Florida.
Nobody gets inside that vehicle! I did not render permission to search!
Moments ago, this woman was picked up for driving while impaired. It's not her first time. The belligerent boozer has 2 previous DUIs.
Get away from me, bitch! I will fight you.
also has a history of being less than cooperative with police.
And I'm suing 7 other sheriff deputies.
It's a history that's about to repeat itself.
Check it on record. Your mom.
The officer reads the sassy suspect her rights, or tries to.
Understand what I've read to you. Your mama does. How are you going to take the protest? Your mama will. No answer. My attorney, that's the answer.
Now the only thing left to do is drive the harpy to the station. It'll be the longest trip of the cop's career.
Don't take me to jail. Work for damn money, please. What up so I can breathe?
For 30 agonizing minutes, the backseat blowhard bounces back and forth across the cruiser, mouthing off like a bratty child.
And you're hardly even human. You're a cop.
Through it all, the officer keeps a cool head.
You are so gay.
But when she finally reaches the station, the patrol woman can't contain her relief.
Hi, one for booking with a call-ahead reservation.
As for the suspect, she keeps yapping all the way to jail.
You know something? Your children will grow up one day and get beaten to death.
This repeat offender may have thought she had complete freedom of speech.
Everybody get inside that vehicle!
But after this hate-filled tirade,
You're in hell, bitch.
she can tell it to a judge.
You are so gay.
Still to come, a detained diva takes it off, turning the police station into a strip club. But first, a woman tries to turn a routine traffic stop into a full throttle throwdown. And 2 former friends go from ripping out hair to pounding each other with fists. On Most Shocking, Lawless Ladies.
In Belgium, a documentary crew follows along as cops pull over an erratic driver. It should be a fairly routine traffic stop.
Ik zal me even voorstellen, Jacob van de politie Brabant Zuidoost. Ja hoor.
But this busted bad girl is about to lash out. First, the young ingenue tries to cry her way out of the ticket. The patrolman tries to keep her calm. But when the cameraman moves in, she proves she's not ready for her close-up. The hysterical suspect threatens to attack. And police start to think there's more to her story. A quick background check confirms her clash with the law is too big to settle on the street.
Oké, dan gaat ze nu mee naar het bureau. En wat is het betalen? U hebt nog wat bovenste openstaan. 380 euro. U gaat er eventjes mee naar het bureau.
With her past exposed, the dame makes a run for it. Forcing the cops to stop playing nice and haul her downtown. Hopefully the next time this drama queen wants to make a scene, she'll act smarter from the start and avoid the police spotlight. Minneapolis, Minnesota. These 2 girls have been best friends since the 5th grade. But the bond that holds them together is about to snap. It turns out both of them like the same man. Now, after months of pent-up rage, these women scorned let each other know how they really feel. With their fists. The female fighters yank hair and pound each other senseless. The rager in yellow manages to land a jab, but gets clocked with a right hook. Then her ex-friend goes for the pile drive. Finally, this street-side grapple comes to an end when a bystander breaks up the feud. Cops show up moments later and disperse the disorderly crowd. They say conflict assesses the strength of any relationship. If that's the case, these two just put theirs to the ultimate test. Salt Lake City, Utah. A woman enters a pawn shop hoping to snatch some goods. But she's about to bite off more than she can chew. The clerk, Maggie Sotelo, recognizes the lady as a regular customer. But today, something seems off.
She did seem a little bit nervous, kind of like wandering around a lot. And I'm thinking, maybe she's, looking for something, or maybe she's afraid of something. You're just not sure what the type of customer sometimes you get in.
As the employee fills out a loan form, the sneaky shopper makes her move. She shoves a bracelet into her mouth and swallows the 14-karat gold diamond band. But she's not done yet. The thief goes in for seconds, tossing back another bracelet. Now, with over $2,000 worth of jewelry stuck in her throat, she has problems acting normal.
I tried talking to her. She's like, and she wouldn't say a word. All of a sudden, I started seeing her, her eyes went watery. And I'm thinking, what is she eating? Did she put something in her mouth?
Moments later, Maggie notices the bracelet is missing.
No, I didn't.
She and the manager search the area and even search the deviant dame. They find nothing. It's not until later review of the surveillance footage that they realize this girl gobbled the gold.
I've never seen anything like this ever. It was pretty amazing.
Days later, police arrest the robber and charge her with felony retail theft.
The detectives brought the jewelry back to the store and handed it over to my boss. They were obviously clean, but my boss just, just for the heck of it, he threw it back in the cleaner just to make sure it was detailed clean.
And now, this money-hungry crook may find the consequences of her crime a little hard to swallow.
Coming up, a suspected drunk sings like a canary.
How do you know I'm not a crack dealer?
Then goes spread eagle.
Ma'am, could you get off the ground?
And a dance troupe goes from stomping on stage to swinging in the club. And later, a burlesque bad girl puts on a show for police. Next on Most Shocking, Lawless Ladies.
Melbourne, Florida. A pregnant woman makes a quick stop at this convenience store. Seconds later, another customer, Melody Blevins, pulls up with her fiancé. What Melody doesn't realize is that she and the expectant mother have something in common. Her purse.
I took my wallet out of my purse, slid the purse up under the glove compartment, and walked into the store, not thinking anything of it.
Inside the store, the mom-to-be picks up a little something for her unborn kid.
She was about 8 months pregnant and was buying a pack of cigarettes. Well, I'm pregnant myself, 4 months, so it was really confusing, a little shocking.
But that's just the beginning. As this paragon of parenthood returns to her truck, she makes a brief detour into Melody's car. Without hesitation, The woman snags her handbag. Then the child-bearing bandit hops in her ride and speeds off. Soon after, Melody and her man get back in their car and drive away, unaware that they've been robbed.
About 10-15 minutes later, I started looking for my purse, and then it hit me. I said, oh, I think someone took it out of the car while I was in the store.
To make matters worse, the stolen purse contained a priceless family heirloom.
As soon as I realized that my grandmother's ring was missing, I was very upset because it was going to be my wedding ring.
Thankfully, with the help of this surveillance tape, police arrest the round robber. Now cops can only hope that when this immoral mother finally gives birth, the apple falls far from the tree.
Yes.
Lee County, Florida.
5505 or 7.
Cops arrive on scene after a lady crashes into a refrigerator.
That refrigerator shouldn't be on the side of the road, officer.
Well, no, actually the refrigerator is perfectly fine being on the side of the road. It's you that shouldn't be on the side of the road.
The woman's car has some damage, but officers are pretty sure it's not the only thing that's wrecked.
An investigation. Like I said, I've got some real concerns about whether or not you may have been impaired, and that's the reason why you ran your car off the road and hit a refrigerator.
There was an obstruction in the road.
Ma'am, it's a refrigerator and it's in the grass. It was not in the road.
Well, there must have been something.
Her story doesn't add up, but it's her bizarre behavior that sets off alarms.
I don't need to look at it. I just need you to put your purse down for a minute.
How do you know I don't have drugs?
Do you have any drugs?
How do you know I'm not a crack dealer?
Are you?
No.
Okay. Well, at this point, I don't.
The woman decides to make up her own sobriety test.
Crack dealer, I could be. You want me to do this? You want me to
Could you get off the ground, please?
Oh, look, I can do this. I can do this.
Ma'am, could you get off?
But the rolling boozer is only hurting her case.
Ma'am, could you get off the ground?
Me to do. No? What up?
Come here.
After her stint on the pavement, she finally agrees to cooperate.
Done. And when I say right or left, you're going to lift that hand, touch the tip of that finger to the tip of your nose, and as soon as you touch your nose, immediately return your hand to your side. I'm not going to tell you to put your hand down.
The exam doesn't last long.
All right, right?
Hello, I'm doing it.
Ma'am, I told you to put your hand immediately down to your side. Bring your hand.
The driver is arrested and charged with a DUI. And now for drunkenly ramming an icebox.
That refrigerator shouldn't be on the side of the road, officer.
She'll be spending the night in the cooler.
Hello, I'm doing it.
Raleigh, North Carolina. College sororities battle for bragging rights at the annual Step Show. This troop pounds out a spot in the winner's circle. But when they take their victory dance to the after party, the sore losers cut in. And the catfight erupts into an all-out brawl. The girl in white serves up a smackdown like she did on stage. And when her friends pull her off the kick line, other divas jump in to take the lead. 15 fighters duke it out on the dance floor, and even the onlooking fraternities can't separate the co-eds. Finally, police step in. And since nobody wants to tango with their tasers, the show's over. Lucky for these girls, cops let them off with a warning. But next time they want to stomp the yard, they'd better stay in line with the law.
Straight ahead, A souse siren turns her arrest into a peep show. That's next on Most Shocking. Lawless Ladies.
Moscow, Russia. At a suburban police station, this lady is being detained for disorderly conduct. But even before her interrogation, she decides to put everything out in the open by taking off her clothes to the delight of the comrade behind the lens. But the officer at the desk attempts to keep the precinct professional. He ignores the Moscow madam's advances, which only sends her into a near-naked rage. Then the stripping Soviet coos for the camera and sashays down an imaginary catwalk, striking another cheeky pose for the guards. But she's already shown too much. And it's time for this flashing jailbird to button up. Her dirty dancing judges award her with an overnight stay behind bars. After this impromptu striptease from Russia with love.
Because femme fatales aren't confined to the movies. And criminal behavior isn't bound by sex. It's important to stay alert and be on the lookout for Lawless Ladies.
Oh, careful.